I'm just going to do a little video while we've still got the internet, because there's a very high possibility that it's going to go down before the 20th, because on the 20th there's a grand conjunction in the sky. And when these two planets pass each other, there's a number in there, and that number is 311, which has been pushed for years as the 3rd of November 2020. There's thousands of films with 311 in it. However, like I said before, these guys don't do anything without consulting the stars and the planets. Now, when this conjunction lines up, it lines up to a 311 degree. Okay, so these suns, let's just say that, they like to do certain rituals on certain days, as we know. And by all accounts, something big's going to go down on the 20th. I can feel it anyway. But the TV's going to stay on. I said this a year ago to a friend of mine who vouched for me, that all this talk about the cabal being taken down by Mr. Trump, who was Golden Dawn, and there is a rumour that he's actually Aleister Crowley. Now, Mr. Crowley died in 1946, December the 1st. Donald Trump was born, I think it was June the 15th or the 25th, 1946, same year. Now, as we know, these people are professionals are doing the soul tethering. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Mr. Crowley is still amongst us. I mean, all the rest of them are. And let's face it, he did visit the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza on his honeymoon, where he blackmailed the guard and he spent the night in the King's Chamber with his wife. On one of these occasions, he did summon up something that he shouldn't have done. And that's what all this stems from. Because he opened the door to something dark, basically. So to think that he's not around anymore, I'm not having it. And when you look at Trump and him, they do look quite alike. I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole. Because don't forget, guys, I said this at the very beginning as well, that when this all comes to a head, they're going to have to come up with somebody who they're going to call the Saviour, the Messiah. Somebody's going to come along and save everybody from what's going on. Who is that going to be? Who is it going to be presented as? Who could possibly, could anyone think of anybody in any government that they could trust to take on that job, in all seriousness? I'll leave you to answer that question yourself. But just by the mere fact there has to be somebody, and we know what's happening with Trump and the presidency, it's all coming together. There's going to be a lot of things exposed soon, and people are going to be thinking, what is going on? There's been a lot of arrests. Merkel has been arrested, apparently. There's all kinds of stuff being put out on the MSN. How true it is or not, nobody can verify. Nobody. And yeah, they're going to leave the TV and they're going to put these trials on TV, so people are going to be seeing people in military trials for trafficking and all this kind of stuff. But what you're watching, is it actually real? You've got to question everything. Everything's on the table and nothing is off, as far as I'm concerned. But just a few thoughts there. And let's talk about Moses. Let's talk about Moses. Like I said, I've only been reading the Bible since March. Now, a lot of people said to me, well, yeah, you don't know much then. Well, I know as much as what I know. And I'm good at connecting dots. and I do have a precognition ability, and I can see into the future, which to me is not really a skill, it's just wisdom, and you don't need any knowledge to be wise. So when I picked it up in March and started reading it, I started to think, hang on a minute, this, like, is scary shit. Because I'm good at connecting dots. And obviously I've been on the New World Order thing for decades, you know what I mean? So as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, whoa, hang on a minute. Anyway, back to Moses. So I'll just give it a quick, for people who don't know, he was one of God's favourites, according to the good book. And he favoured him greatly. But Moses did actually kill somebody. It was around the Babylonian times. I think he went into town and he seen a Babylonian person, if you like, beating up on an Israelite. And he stepped in, he had a fight with him and he killed him and buried him. And he also had a sister called Miriam. Now Miriam, what happened was, when Moses was put in a basket and sent down a river, he was found by a Pharaoh priestess who was taking a bath in the river and being guarded. And she found this baby. And as soon as she picked the Moses basket up, Miriam came out of the bushes, because Miriam was watching over the baby, and said, oh, I know someone who can look after the baby, I can do that for you. And this Pharaoh priestess said, oh, okay then. It's very brave of Miriam to do that, because she was hiding in the bushes herself. And that's how the story goes. And then when he grew up, and then he had this fight with this guy and he killed him. And then we got a character called Belshazzar. Now, he was a Pharaoh Egyptian around about 530 or something, I don't know. And he was made a king by God. And he lived in opulence, and he surrounded himself, a bit like Saif Gaddafi, everyone knows about him. And he just got a bit too big for his boots. And he went into Jerusalem or somewhere and stole 4 golden goblets. And he sat around with his harem drinking wine out of the holy cup. So Moses went to see him and said, oi, I don't think you want to be doing that, because you're not going to please God and he's not going to be very happy. Well, Belshazzar said, I don't believe any of that crap, basically. And Moses kept on warning him 4 times. And the final time, Moses went to see him. He said, look, I'm telling you now, you better stop what you're doing. And again, Belshazzar didn't believe him. And then the famous quote, the writing is on the wall, this is where it came from. God came out of nowhere and wrote in the wall, in fire, 4 words, manna or mama, I can't remember what it was. And they came in the wall, and Belshazzar couldn't believe his eyes. He was like, what the... And then he called on Moses to come and translate it for him. Or it might have been Daniel, it doesn't matter. Anyway, someone come along and he offered him gold and a purple coat and a gold crown, if someone can decipher what it meant. So Moses came along and said, basically, you're screwed. You've had it. And it ended up coming true. He was finished, because he was sent plagues and all the rest of it. Now, another thing about Moses, when he died, there was a fight over his body, over his soul, or spirit, if you like, between Lucifer and God, because Lucifer said that Moses had killed somebody. So therefore, you know where I'm going with that. And God said, well, hang on a minute. I want his soul, because God is a forgiving man, and he supersedes anybody anyway. So we ended up with the Moses that had passed away, if you like. Also, Miriam, his sister, she turned against her brother because she didn't like the fact that he could have private conversations with God, basically. She got jealous. So after they saved the Israelites and they went to wherever they went, she started spreading rumours about him, saying nasty things about him because she was jealous and she wanted to discredit him. And Moses found out about it. And Moses, being Moses, he interceded for Miriam, his sister, to God and said, look, can you spare her, etc., etc. Well, he didn't, because she passed away. But legend has it that she was also saved by God and the soul was used. Basically, they both had to go and learn a lesson in humility or something like that. I'm not quite sure about that. I'm just, like I said, I've not been studying that long. But I have took the time to go back to the Council of Nicaea and the Cathar monks and all the rest of it in the Roman Empire and the Roman Catholics. And I find it fascinating, the whole book. But the Moses story is quite intriguing. Very intriguing. And I went in the chat last night, I tried to help some people, and I'm just astonished the amount of people that do not believe in God. Most of them said, oh, I believe in a creator. I said, okay then, has he got a name? Nobody had a name for this creator of these people. Not one of them had a name. Somebody asked me, who wrote the Bible? What's his name? Because there's been about 10 Bibles written, this guy said. I mean, and I said, what do you actually want the author's name? I mean, what sort of question is that? And I asked him, because his view was he doesn't believe in God, but he believes in the Creator. And he says he doesn't believe in the Bible. And I asked him, what studies has he done on the Bible, and how much does he know about it before he came to the decision it's a load of crap? Well, he couldn't tell me. Anyway, we got a bit of a ding-dong. And I just told them all, basically, that I believe in manna, M-A-N-N-A. Some people will know what it is, some people may not. Just Google it. And I told them to Google it. Anyway, I got a lot of abuse, and today I've just been in the chat, and they're all in there speaking about me, saying that, that this person's aggressive and all this. Well, no, I'm not. It's just if we're having a conversation and someone says something, I want to go over what they've said and break it down. If I find something wrong with it, or, it's just a conversation, but people just don't. But as soon as you mention God, that is it. The conversation falls apart. And all I can say is that, from my interpretation of the Bible, we're here. We're here now. And I've just watched Earth Change's last video. And he talks about the Trojans, and we know what they are. And it's all there. But we don't have to worry, because we believe in God. He's my daddy. That's all I know. I went to a local shop today. I've got no money, and I picked up 4 pints of milk, and I asked the guy behind there, who we've had a few words, by the way, and he wouldn't give me the credit, even though I've been going in there 3 years now, and he knows me. And I said, I thought you believe in God. Because we have conversations about that. Anyway, he kicks right off on me. And I'm barred out of there as well now. So I'm running out of shops now. But it just seems to me that you mention the word God and people run a mile. And you get mocked, ripped apart. Even the next day they're still talking about me because I was talking about God. And it's very, very, very sad. Indeed. Very sad. But like I said, my focus has always been the children first. So these adults, I pray every day, at least 5 times a day, minimum. Anyway, I've got to go because my minutes are down. But I'm alright. And we're going to be absolutely fine, guys. You can trust me. I'm telling you now. Because someone's got this covered. And his email address is www.god.com. Are you serious? Serious as serious can be.